So with like 500 million users, everybody's buying and selling for different reasons. Someone wants to buy a house. Someone wants to get out of Ukraine. Somebody doesn't like the US. Some person in the US, etc. So there's all this kind of reasons. So there's no single reason. It's just mass psychology.
So it's not just because of the Bitcoin halving of every 4 years, because it was like almost changing that cycle, but then the war starts, and then we saw the fail of Luna, and we saw the fail of Celsius and so many others, and like it was a messed up, and people confused it about like it's going to be the next bull run at 24 because we have the Bitcoin halving, or it's going to be like, it's a whole mess now.
Yeah. So there are other things. There are things in the world that have 4-year cycles. Bitcoin halving is every 4 years. United States president election is every 4 years. There stock markets go in 4-year cycles. We're still quite correlated with the stock market because most guys who buy crypto also trade stocks. When stocks go down, they want to hold cash. They sell the crypto to get cash. So there are 4-year cycles elsewhere that will have impact. I think the Bitcoin halving every 4 years definitely is correlated with the 4-year cycles we've seen in the past. And in the past, it's 1 year sharp drop. The drop is always fast.
Yeah.
Because they're already down. But in any industry, there's successful projects and there's failed projects.
Yeah.
In stock markets, there's Lehman Brothers in 2008.
Yeah.
This is the 74 years after there was very clear regulations in the financial market. There's Madoff that happened. FTX is more like Madoff. I think. It's lying, it's Ponzi, right? So whereas Lehman Brothers is more like a failed project, they just mismanaged. Lehman Brothers is more like Luna. So Luna is just mismanaged. The guys didn't really want to steal money away. And in the crypto space,
that's important to know because most of the people they thought that they was just trying to run with the money. But that's important to you point on Luna specifically.
It's very different, I think. Luna, for all the data we saw, the founders didn't walk away with much money. It was just badly designed and badly maintained, badly operated, and just badly handled.
Yeah, it fell down like a domino.
Yeah. So you grew up very quickly, but then you also fell down like a domino. Whereas FTX is a different situation. Customers' funds they promised not to take. That's lying. Bitcoin, the top two mining pools control more than 51% of the hash power. Is that centralization or not? And then you look at Ethereum or Binance being Bitcoin, you can identify the founder, which we probably would have outsized influence if we voiced some opinion. Bitcoin doesn't have this problem. Is Ethereum or being Bitcoin centralized in that way? So there's many different types of centralization versus decentralization considerations. So we got to look at different aspects, and each aspect is a gradient scale. But more importantly than centralization versus decentralization is we want to achieve fundamental properties where you have freedom to transact, you have freedom to hold your assets, control your assets, you have low cost and ease of use. So if you achieve all of those properties, it matters less. So decentralization is a way to get there. But I don't view that we can get there all in one step. I think today most people are still more familiar or more comfortable with the email, password, customer support. This is why today centralized exchanges like us still have the most number of users in the ecosystem. Over time, as the tool gets better, I think it will change.
All right,
I think there's already quite a lot of institutional adoption. So Binance is more of a retail platform, but 30% of our clients are actually institutions. That's actually a very large number considering their size are usually much bigger per client. But again, there's also different levels of institutional clients.
So I have a question here, sorry. Is this also required from the mass adoption from institutions to be also some regulations from countries in order for them to get in?
Different countries have different regulations. US, there's quite a lot of requirements for institutions to only use licensed platforms. But every single platform in the US is licensed. Europe, I think there's still some of that. But once you move to the rest of the world, like Asia, Africa, those regulations there's much less of those requirements. So, and also how do you define an institution? right? Is it just a corporate KYC, like any company that registers, that's an institution, or do they have to have a certain size, certain volume, etc.? So the top one.
So you think that the adoption will be mostly like from the people, or like a combination of these two?
I think it's a combination.
Combination.
Yeah.
Okay. But do you think that it's possible also like other countries we're gonna see like in the next few years starting?
Yeah, for sure. I think it most likely will start with the countries that don't have their own currency. Actually, in Europe, most countries don't have their own currency, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
But in many other countries, like El Salvador didn't have their own currency. Central African Republic didn't have their own currency. So those countries will start first. The smaller country will start first, I think.
All right. And what about the global crypto regulations? Do you think that they're gonna happen somehow soon? Because there is some information that if we have this in the next, let's say 6 months, there will be some order there, and there will be the crypto again like doing some cycles and going up. Or you think that's something that will take long to happen? And now it's most important I think in US what's happening because it's the biggest economy. And yeah.
So I think it's already happening. France gave us a license in April. Italy gave us a license, a registration. License is not a prerequisite for adoption. Many, especially in countries that are very much against crypto, sometimes the adoption is really high.
Like Argentina.
I wouldn't name specific countries like that, but
I'll take responsibility.
Yeah, in many countries in the world, I'll name a couple like Venezuela.
Yeah,
adoption is very very high. In countries with hyperinflation, where citizens.
Turkey also.
Yeah. So there's a lot of different countries. So just because there's no licensing giving out doesn't mean that the adoption will stop. If that was that simple, I don't think any government will give licenses. I think most governments now understand that adoption will happen regardless. It's better to regulate the industry instead of trying to fight against it.
So another question, if you want to answer, if not. Politicians, what do you think was going to do? They're going to support somehow the crypto? How are they going to react? I mean, I've seen already some, but what can you see from your experience? Because
and at Binance, we just offer tools for people to use crypto. It can be a centralized exchange, it can be a decentralized wallet like Trust Wallet or any other wallet. We provide access to information like CoinMarketCap. We contribute to open source blockchains. And it just happened that the centralized exchange is our monetizing mechanism right now. We don't turn on monetization for Trust Wallet or other things. It doesn't mean we can't. It just means that we have to make enough money here already. We don't need to maximize that. We just want to build tools for people to use crypto. So, and we actually don't really. I'm very happy for people to use Trust Wallet, hold coins on their own if they feel that's the most safe thing for them to do.
I remember one time you said in the interview that you actually don't care to have people crypto in Binance if they don't trade. There is no profit and no reason there even. And I was surprised. And also you by providing another solution with Trust Wallet, also you verified that.